Greetings, everyone. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru. Thank you so much for joining us. As we always do, make sure you guys hit that like button. Again, please hit that like button as you come to the chat room. Once again, hit that like button as you come to the chat room. Also, share the video. All right, share the video. All right, we need to grow the platform. So when you come in and you see the content, go ahead and share it. And then subscribe. Hit that subscription button and hit that notification bell as well. Again, hit the subscription button and hit the notification bell as well. Make sure you go to dynastymirror.com. Excuse me, I just finished breakfast. Make sure you go to dynastymirror.com while you're there. Get your merchandise, get your books, your Black Love or Die Trying shirt. You got to go cop one. Again, go to dynastymirror.com and get yours. And then tour April 21st to the 30th. April 21st to the 30th, we are going to Sierra Leone. So come and join us in the beautiful country of Sierra Leone. Again, April 21st to 30th. If you are interested, go to dynastymirror.com and send me a message. And then let's see here. I think, Patreon. In fact, let me get the banner going here. Patreon. Patreon.com. Search for Uhuru. Again, patreon.com, search for Uhuru. Become a monthly Patreon, you guys. Again, become a monthly Patreon, everybody. Patreon.com, search for Uhuru. Really could use your support so we can reinvest back into the platforms, guys, and continue to grow the platforms. Without further ado, I have brother, the ambassador, RJ Mahdi. And today's topic, we're going to be discussing how repats to Africa pretty much can avoid being hustled. Is that pretty much what we discussed, RJ?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a necessary thing. I think we all have to, have some kind of reassurances. We got to have some kind of security, some kind of backup plan, some kind of strategy, and that's what's important right now.
Okay. All right. So what's going on? As far like currently, what's going on? Like what?
Well, I mean, in essence, the overall issue is, how can I say, the rush, right? So right now, obviously, there's a rush of members of the diaspora that are trying to get back to Africa. These, political and social unrests in America and other places in the West is really motivating and encouraging people to rush back to the continent. And sometimes what happens when you have a rush like that, sometimes you have opportunists, sometimes you have folks who don't necessarily have the proper credentials, and sometimes you even have people who mean well but may not have the resources to actually help you. But because there's a rush, our people are kind of, just grabbing for straws, jumping into situations that are not necessarily, beneficial for them. And so we want to make sure that kind of gets solved.
Like, can you give us an example how a repat can get hustled, as far as relocating to Africa? Like, what do you see out there?
So the first thing to understand is, business here on the African continent is a lot different than business, is in the West and in the U.S. How things are handled, the kinds of doors that you have to walk through before you can actually have access to certain development resources. The kind of people that you work with is even different. The environment is totally different. So, I know sometimes as people who are looking for independence, we're excited about entrepreneurship, about doing for ourselves and having our own. And sometimes we jump into things that are just, we're not prepared for. So, we're seeing situations arise. Obviously, a lot of people have been following a particular crisis right now in the Gambia. Our team at the Exodus Alliance has been, working to create some solutions in that particular situation. But truth be told, it's not just that situation. We have to be careful, just in general about, who we do business with, but not just do business with, but who we put our lives in their hands, right? When you utilize somebody to actually help you to repatriate, If you go through somebody who says, I can help you to find land and to, get your family rooted here on the soil. If you're trusting somebody who's going to be giving you an extended tour or residency in their home, anything like that, there's an extensive amount of background check, an extensive amount of, just legitimacy that needs to be obtained before you should put your safety in those hands. And I think that, if people slow down, I know there's a rush, but take your time and really look into these kinds of, different companies and organizations and operations better. You may find, different or alternative solutions that may be more productive for you.
So, if we could kind of, I really don't want to dive deeper and go in detail, but for those who are new to this platform and might not know, what is going on in the Gambia?
You said what's going on in the Gambia?
Yeah, because for those who might not know, if you could give like a brief kind of.
Yeah, I mean, about as much as public already is. There's a community of repatriates in the Gambia. Some of them have been there for years. Some of them, very new. But in any event, rifts between various groups have caused now rifts in business. And so we have people who are welcoming repatriates on the ground, but at the same time, not necessarily securing all of their particular business, needs and safety nets. So in recent here about 2 months ago, allegations were made against a particular group from somebody within that same group who came and made allegations of fraud and different types of negligence. It became a big spillover on social media. A lot of folks are kind of speculating as to what may have happened in that situation. So our Exodus Alliance stepped in because of the big hoopla I was making. It seemed like something that was almost even life or death in the beginning. We stepped in. We initiated a mediation with the two parties to see how it could be handled and resolved. In a closed space in an environment that everybody can be transparent, and they were. Both parties brought forth all of the different evidence and all of their different complaints. We reviewed hundreds of documents, went through account records, transactions, etc., all so that we could identify what trouble spots have been highlighted by the particular complainant. And our attorneys in the Gambia actually led the process. And what we found was, not what I can say right now is a negligence, criminal negligence, but something that has obviously been misinterpreted, miscommunicated, and I think that perhaps both parties kind of play a role themselves in how this thing has manifested. I'm really sorry that it actually had to manifest the way it did, because the world is watching. The world is watching to see how we as a people handle ourselves when we get here on the ground. These countries that we're coming back into are welcoming us, but at the end of the day, how long will that last if we're coming back being trouble? So we took it upon ourselves to just be that mediator, and the situation is coming to a close. I'm sure in the coming days we'll have a final conclusion on the particular situation. I know a lot of the customers and clients that were involved with these, particular organizations are worried. Some of them are, requesting refunds, and it's kind of spilled over into more than we believe was even necessary to begin with. So we just want to reassure the people that number one, our organization is here to be a conduit to help in these types of situations. You guys are not alone as you're coming home. This is not something that you have to do on your own. Take the time to reach out to the proper resources so that it can be done right the first time, so that you don't run into a bunch of challenges down the road because you rushed into, selecting your facilitator.
Now, another thing that I'm noticing, RJ, is, and guys, hit that like button again. When you come into the chat room, please hit the like button again. When you come into the chat room, please hit that like button. I'm noticing, like me personally, I traveled to over 15, 16 countries before I settled on pretty much two. Do you think a common mistake is people are moving in the spirit and just going to one country? Then if it doesn't work out, they make this blanket statement that I got scammed in Africa. This was bad in Africa when they only visited one country. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Right. Yeah, and likewise, I think that's sometimes what happens even in the development business. You go through one negative experience, and you feel like the whole repatriation movement is this experience. And I'm here to say that that's not true. We have dozens of members ourselves who are here on the ground in Senegal, who are comfortable, who've gotten their families here, they've got homes, apartments, land, etc. Same thing in the Gambia. Tons of folks there who've been living there for years. And these are folks who come back and they're not, jumping into that particular industry or arena. They're coming back and they're just, starting their lives, putting their kids in school, starting small businesses, creating and developing with the economy in that area. Same thing in Ghana, same thing in Sierra Leone, across much of West Africa. So, we want folks to understand that the entire repatriation process and community is not reflected in the mishaps that you may have seen bubble up on social media.
Okay. Somebody in the chat room says, Brother RJ, I am a fan of yours. The individuals involved got a lot of visibility because of your Africa Day webathon. Next time, will there be a vetting process?
As far as Africa Day?
I guess so.
Right. So Africa Day was an opportunity to put people who had repatriated, on the stage and allow them to tell their stories and allow them to share their experiences. And yes, you're right. We did actually have a couple of the people involved on our Africa Day program. And so what that really shows you is the longstanding support that we offer to repatriates here on the ground. We don't pick sides. We don't take the road of being the dictator of who has a voice and who doesn't. But we do feel responsible when people who are in our community or in our network create any type of negative press or any type of negative vibes that can be taken the wrong way. And let me say this, this is really all about community, collective development. Because in any community, you're going to have disputes. You're going to have people who don't like each other. You're going to have people who are competitors. This is a natural thing in any society in the world. But when you have collective community development, when you have collective input, then you can get through those disputes without large spats, without it resulting to violence, without it coming to court systems and police and law enforcement. When you have respectable communities, and this is how things are handled in communities here on the ground. If you live anywhere here in Senegal or any of these neighboring areas, if there's a simple dispute between two business people and one person wants to sue the other person, before you go to court, they're going to take you to a mediation at a community center or community office administration. They're going to sit you down. They're going to say, okay, bring your proof. You bring your proof. You tell your side. You tell your side. And let's find a solution. And that's how things are handled here. So we have to get out of the Western mentality of, if anybody crosses me, I'm going to attack them, or I'm going to berate them, or I'm going to insult them, or I'm going to go on social media and tear down their image, etc. This is not necessary, and it's actually counterproductive. So we want to continue to build more on that collective vibe.
All right, listen, guys, hit that like button again. Please hit the like button, and also too, we're gonna open up the phone lines. If you would like to call in, email is in the chat room. Send me an email. Again, send me an email at uhuru@searchforahuru.com. Uhuru@searchforahuru.com. It is in the chat room. Send me an email and I will forward you the link and you guys can call in and ask a question. Again, hit that like button. Lisa Biddy says, folks want America on the continent. They contend that they don't. When speaking, all they are saying is comparing the two. Africa is a continent, not a country.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, I guess what she's saying is, hold on one second. Yeah, guys, if you'd like to call in, send me an email at uhuru@searchforahuru.com, uhuru@searchforahuru.com. Email is in the chat room. Now, as far as people who are relocating to the continent, like how can you help them out, RJ? How can the group help those people out who are wanting to repatriate to the continent?
Right. So my first advice to anybody, and this has been even as long as we've been, friends, you and I, we've been talking, is to do a lot of research. Prior to me coming here, my family and I, we did research for years. I had actually visited here prior. I had family been back and forth. There's a trail of research that had been done. Dig into research. And particularly dig into research if you're not coming back to somebody who's like family, who you know personally, like somebody you knew before this journey, right? Do some digging into that or into them. If there's somebody telling you that I can help you, to repatriate to this country or that country, this community, that community, do some digging. We offer repatriate services at Made in Africa Project. We always, work together with folks to try and identify what exact type of expectations you have. That's really important. Everywhere on the continent is not the same. All countries don't have the same cultural nuances. All countries don't speak the same languages. It's a lot to be covered. So we try and help our members to be able to understand, what places actually mesh well with their interests. It depends, right? What are you looking for when you come back? What economic plan do you have for yourself? I think that's something that people don't put enough weight into when coming back. A lot of folks are kind of more so, I'll see when I get there. But have a plan even before you come. Sit down and write it out. Make sure that you have something to hold your own back against the wall so that, no matter what, you got your economics taken care of. Don't come back to the continent looking for a job. Don't come back to the continent, relying on, just the help of somebody, right?
One second, RJ. And Lisa Biddy, you got a lot of background noise. Lisa Biddy, you got $10 quiet. You got a lot of background noise. Lisa Biddy. All right, go ahead, RJ.
Yeah, so just be very thorough. If you are looking for repatriate services with in-depth resources, and then teams on the ground that are professional, that are registered, that are licensed, we can help you with that. Our website is madeinafricaproject.com, and you can find me on all social media at King RJ Mahdi.
Oh, hold on. Let's see here. Let's see if she's ready now. Hey, Lisa, are you ready now?
I'm ready now.
All right, go ahead.
What I was saying was, Dynast and RJ, is that people, when they are coming here, one, they have not been on the continent before, okay? So they have these visions of wanting America, a country, okay? They want America on Africa. Africa is a continent. They're not isolating the two. So when you hear them speak, they're speaking as if Africa is the country. We know that that is not the case, okay? Also, if they want the comforts of America, there's places on the continent they can go. However, they contend they're doing their research. They're not truly doing real research. They're not. So then what they are doing is taking that and, of course, bashing the place where they actually plant their feet, which is wrong. My contention has always been is that stop comparing the two. And then Americans, we're so pompous. I've been on 6 continents, and what I tell you is we're so pompous. We want our way of living at home to be worldwide. And
Yeah. Sister, we're losing you, sister. We're losing you. Yeah, your connection is acting up. She fell off. All right, go ahead,
Yeah,
Audrey.
man, the sister makes a really great point. And just to kind of reiterate, the continent has a lot of different places, a lot of different environments, and I think sometimes we come back expecting one or the other, and the place that we came to, because we didn't do enough research, doesn't have that, and we find ourselves in a position where we want to insult, that place or the people of that place. Out of our egos. And we do have to, get out of that mentality that everywhere is just like America. Like I was saying earlier in the conversation, doing business here is nothing like doing business in America. Nothing like it. If you don't have some established contacts, connections, some real resources, if you're not actually, doing something that's beneficial for the community, even people won't allow it. In America, you can, pretty much sit down in any city in the country and open up whatever you want, any kind of business you like, and people kind of got to take it because it's a country that welcomes that type. And let me give you another example. It's kind of equal to if somebody who's from outside of America watches a bunch of TV shows and movies about New York City, and they say, I want to go to America because I like New York City. And then when they get to America, they land in the middle of Montana or Iowa, right? Or Idaho. And then they're like, wait, this is not what I saw on TV. It's all a lie. This place is desolate. It's country. It's empty, et cetera, et cetera. But you didn't do enough research to find out where cities like New York City is at. So, some of us, we're looking for different things. I think we have to take our time, slow down, identify places that are actually good for us and for our spirit and for our vibe and for our agenda, and take those places as our new homes.
Okay, guys, if you'd like to call in, email is uhuru@searchforuhuru.com. uhuru@searchforuhuru.com. I'll put in the chat room. You can call in. How much longer you got? How much more time do you have, Audrey?
You said what time?
I said, how much more time do you have?
I'm here with you guys. I'll take some questions if people have some.
Okay. All right, guys. So if you have a question, if you're in the chat room, send an email to uhuru@searchforuhuru.com, uhuru@searchforuhuru.com, and we will send you, I'll send you the link. Also, make sure you go to dynastymir.com. Go to dynastymir.com. While you're there, make sure you get all your merchandise, and also tour April 21st to the 30th. April 21st to the 30th, we are headed to Sierra Leone. Come and join us, family. Again, come and join us, people. Come and join us. Lisa Biddy, I understand where you're coming from as far as the pompous attitude, but I know there's some times where, like, I remember I was at a restaurant. In fact, I was in the car in Senegal, and I just asked for some hand soap. And bro, you would have thought I was asking for the whole restaurant. I just wanted some hand soap to wash my hands, But it's kind of levels to it, because some things is like, all right, man, I just want some hand soap. Even just to wash my hands before I eat, because that's what I do. It's just good hygiene.
It's relative.
Yeah, it's kind of relative. But you would have thought I was asking, the way they were coming at me, you would have thought I was asking for the whole restaurant. But then this Lebanese guy, I guess who was the owner, came out. I was like, bro, look, I gotta wash my hands. There's no soap. And then of course me, because I worked in the restaurant industry.
Right.
So if like there's no soap in the bathrooms, then I'm like, okay, are they washing their hands in the back where they're preparing my food? So it's not being, but some people would think that would be pompous. Like, man, you ain't in America. What you asking for soap for at a restaurant?
Let me give you another example of that. And this is for anybody considering coming to Senegal, and Gambia is actually very similar. Here in Senegal, in probably 90% of the establishments, they don't provide toilet paper. What they
Right.
provide is
Yeah.
just water. So either a bucket of water with some type of, scooper or spraying device, or a hose that's attached to the toilet so that you can clean yourself. So a lot of people come here and they're frustrated with that because they go into a restaurant, they get into the bathroom, and they're like, why wouldn't this bathroom have toilet paper?
Right.
Because they use water, and this is the cultural norm. A lot of the newer places, the nicer, newer, more modern spots are now doing toilet paper because they know a lot of expats use those places. But that's one of those things, man. It's a cultural norm. Maybe it's not the same everywhere in Africa, but in Senegal, that's the case.
Yeah. So like, here's another. Okay, here's another one. So, this is the first year in a while that I haven't been to. I didn't come to from Magal and Tuba because of just COVID.
Right.
I didn't come. So, so the toilet paper part, like Tuba is straight Muslim Islam. So there's no toilet paper. Left hand wipe, right hand eat.
That's
So, so I had to bring my old toilet paper.
Left hand wipe, right hand eat.
Right, so I had to bring my old toilet paper when I first came, and I ended up clogging up the toilet. And so they was mad. They were like, "Why you American? You use toilet paper? Why? Why?" And they just didn't understand why I use toilet paper. Like they was mad. I was just like, "You got to use toilet paper."
And for that same purpose, here's another one, guys. Social nuances. These are the things that it takes to protect yourself. Not just protect yourself against harm or violence or these kind of things, but to protect yourself against being insulting to people, to protect yourself against being, coming off pompous or arrogant. Another one that has to do with what the brother was just saying is never put your left hand into the food.
Right.
So a lot of times in Senegal, especially if you're eating in a communal environment or in somebody's house, they may just lay down a really big bowl. Everybody sits around the bowl and eats out of that bowl.
Right.
But always eat from that bowl with your right hand. And the reason for that is because culturally in Senegal, they use the left hand only for wiping, and the right hand is only for eating and doing the clean things. So a little cultural nuance for you guys. Let's make sure that we're not, disrespecting people or even just looking like, a fool in the wrong company.
Right. Yeah, and that's another thing. First time I came, 2013, they brought out that big old bowl of food. And I'm like, okay, and people just started digging in. I was like, where's my fork at? It's like, no, use hand. Yeah. So, you know what you gonna do? I dived in.
Right.
So it's just, like you said, it's just one of those things you just get thrown into it, man. And after a while, it's second nature.
Yeah, it does become second nature. And the kids, even my kids learn really young. It's funny because everybody will pitch in with, teaching the kids. So, even if the kids are eating around a stranger and the kid uses the left hand, a stranger will go, right hand,
Right.
So it's something that we all, got to learn together.
All right, go ahead, Kofi.
What's up, Mahdi? What's up, Prince Donis?
What's up, bro?
Yeah, so, the way I study, how to make your exodus to the continent, I just look at, different groups of Black Americans, Africans in America returning back to the African continent. I just look at like different time periods of us doing that. You have the Nova Scotians going to Sierra Leone to establish Sierra Leone. You have the Americos establishing Liberia. And then you have Ben Amin, Israel, also going into Liberia. And then from Liberia going into Dimona, Israel, to establish themselves there. Now, what I'm noticing is today we're leaving individually versus in the past we were leaving as groups. I believe Ben Israel, they left in 1966. They were sort of invited to Liberia, and then there's been some disruptions. us leaving as individuals, do you think that that's causing sort of some type of discouragement on the continent when we repatriate, versus if we were to leave in like huge groups of like say 150 and higher, 300, 500 and so on? Would it be better for us to leave as a huge group, or is coming the way that we're coming now? Um, is is that the way to go? Is that the best way? I just wanted to go into
So you're
discussion
asking, is
on
that
the subject.
is that the best way to do it or not?
Yes, versus traveling in like huge groups.
In groups. I think both have a place. Coming back in groups, as organizations of like minds is important. If you can, gather that many like-minded, members and people who are all on the same page. And this is, something that we even have calculated to be better economically. Which is why we're developing our Al-Kabalan city here in Senegal, because we understand that when we come back, if we are in numbers, then we can at least help each other economically. We can help each other developmentally. We can help each other and be receiving each other on the ground. And then that's how the tribes operate. And to some degree, I've always said that us members of the diaspora are something like a tribe. We have a like culture, like language, like foods and musics and these type of things. So naturally we're gonna be more comfortable around each other, and not to isolate ourselves from those who are here on the ground already, but to at least develop areas or communities or pockets where we at least have some type of control over our own development and how we build out our futures. But in addition, so in retrospect, when you come back individually, sometimes that can be a good thing, but only if you already have a particular safety net somewhere on the ground that's going to welcome you. So if you have communities here on the ground, people who you've known for years, and communities, educational facilities, et cetera, that say, hey, you can come and live in our midst. We welcome you into our particular village or region or et cetera, then that can be achieved. What I do advise against is coming back individually and then landing or putting yourself in random how can I say, isolated areas or environments to where you're the only one there, or you're far from resources that'll be necessary for your sustainability. Try to be more strategic. Even if it's an area that's isolated now, maybe it's just ahead of where something is, a city is developing, or maybe it's just ahead of an area where you can be a part of the growth. But it takes a lot of research. Coming back in numbers is best, and that's what the Exodus Alliance and our Al-Kabalan project is working to achieve.
I think one sector that needs to be developed is the background check, system, and what you guys are doing. I think it's very it's very groundbreaking. Being able to check the background of people that live 9,000 miles away, that could make the difference in whether you're gonna settle in a place comfortably, or whether you're just gonna hit the ground running. And I think that's a great system, and I'm gonna pass that system around once I hit Ghana. My flight leaves next Friday. Unfortunately, we had to switch up some tickets, and I do believe, like, during these times, especially, it is very difficult to get a
Kofi,
huge group of people.
why'd you have to switch up your tickets?
Well, just simply my pop's visa. We were supposed to get on the same flight. His visa just came late. My visa came early because I just paid more.
Oh, okay, got you.
And there's about 27.
But yeah, you're right, man. That is a part of us securing our futures here, being able to vet. If not, you may not be able to vet everybody who repatriates, but at least the people that you do business with, that you surround yourself with, particularly in the areas of development. If anybody is telling you that they can help you get land or develop investment projects, etc., just do your due diligence, and that doesn't have to necessarily just be criminal background checks, but business background checks. Find out what is their business history, what have they been doing, how long have they been doing it, who do they work with, who vouches for them. What type of support system do they have? Are they at it alone, or do they have people around them who are also development, experts? These are things that you want to look into on people, and this is not just in Senegal or Gambia or in these areas, but anywhere really. We do it in the U.S., but I think sometimes in the repatriation space, people feel inclined to trust more. Right? It's like, we're on the same mission. I trust you. But at the end of the day, trust is not securing yourself. We have to be more vigilant.
Well, I feel like platforms like Search for Uhuru is one of those one of these like legitimate platforms where you could get sources from. If anyone gets on here and then they like renege on an opportunity that they put out to like hundreds of thousands of people, that's gonna mess up their reputations. And I look at this platform as being something where people we're going off of reputations, and this could almost even turn into some type of Wall Street trading platform virtually. That's what I see this platform as. What's moving forward? What's our excuse? The Americos that settled in Liberia, the Nova Scotians that settled in Sierra Leone, the Benjamin Israel's troop that settled in Liberia. They faced constant like attack from either the environment, whether it be like mosquitoes, malaria, starvation, and then they faced wars with the indigenous people, trying to stop the slave trade in the coast. Or Ben Amin went to Israel. They faced racism there, and they were threatened to be put on boats that would then they would then blow the boats up in the middle of the sea. That's what they were facing. What's our excuse? We have the internet. We're traveling on like planes where we could get refunds. Why is it so hard for us to settle in today's world, and on the African continent? And that's kind of where I just want to leave it at. I want to open up more of a discussion. I want this to be prolonged.
I agree, man.
You want to answer that, RJ?
There was a question at the end.
It was like an open.
No, I was agreeing with the fact that you're right. Why is it? Why should it be any different for us? I think we do need to take those precautions. A platform like what you're talking about is definitely necessary. That might be something that would be a great investment for somebody in that space. Our organization, the Exodus Alliance, is committing ourselves to being able to, we can say, train and license and develop and actually co-sign those who are legitimate, especially in the business and real estate and development space. But we can't do it all. We're in a time right now where everybody is needed. The input of so many different skills and experience levels and knowledge bases. And I think that the more people start to pitch in those knowledges in a professional manner and applying them into this particular space, something like what you're talking about is not only possible but necessary.
I'm a licensed real estate agent in New York City. Will my profession, or will my status here, can it be easily transferred into the African continent? I think the word is called recuperancy, and that's something that's going to be on the test diners. It's something where if you're licensed in New York City, you can also be your license will work, say in Atlanta, Georgia, or work somewhere like in Nevada as well.
Well, for the most part, for the most part, you don't even have to have a real estate license in the majority of countries in Africa to do real estate, but it's just nice to have, so people can, I guess, feel more secure and
I
comfortable
didn't hear
with
what you
you.
said, Magnus.
For the most part, you don't have to have a real estate license to do real estate in the majority of countries in Africa.
Yes, I mean, some countries do, and like we were saying earlier, yeah, it's different everywhere. Some countries require a lot more from you to be able to have a real estate license. Some countries, it could be particularly easy to obtain that license. In any event, folks would definitely need to do that due diligence to make sure that they're, compliant. And if nothing else, be searching some already licensed companies on the ground and giving them that business if they check out after proper vetting.
I'm heading to Cape Coast, Ghana, in about after I stay in Accra, I'm gonna head to Cape Coast a week later, and I'm going out to look at a sable land, and to I already got allocated the plot paperwork, and with that I'm going to get the residency visa, and that's going to allow people who are wondering about a sable to sort of they're wondering whether is if it's a fraud or not, and the content that I would provide out there is going to like legitimize that, and I will start building on it, and I guess the materials I will start to use are like earth bags from, say, my grading culture, and I would love to connect with the Exodus. Can you say the type? Can you say the name one more time? At the Exodus.
The Exodus Alliance.
The Exodus Alliance. I would love to give feedback to the Exodus Alliance and kind of work with you guys from Ghana, connecting the West African regions, and I would like to be one of many case studies that other future clients could then go into the Exodus Alliance, and they could get a knowledge. They could gain knowledge on their Exodus, their own personal Exodus, and this is happening, and this is going to go down in history. And I would like to thank you, brothers, for providing this for say people like me. And,
No problem. Thank you.
I'm gonna get out of here, and peace.
All right, peace.
All right.
All right, guys. We'll take one more caller. We'll go ahead, Audrey. You got something to say?
I actually have to get out of here to the studio where we're working on a documentary. So we gotta get down here and handle some production. But thanks for having me on.
No problem.
Just want to kind of reassure the people that we can do this together collectively. Let's all kind of put aside our individualism. Let's all put aside our that innate competitive spirit that tells us we have to tear down the next guy in order for us to have our own shine. Let's try and help each other out in times of need. And I think this lifestyle that we can build here on the ground would be much more comfortable and to everybody's liking.
Mm-hmm. Can you answer one more question, RJ?
Go ahead.
Okay. Someone's asking, how would you go about researching property to purchase before you arrive on the continent?
About researching property.
Yeah, before you.
A good place to start is with an Exodus membership. We have real estate partners, brokers on the ground in Senegal, Gambia, Ghana, Sierra Leone, and several other countries now. If you're looking at any of those countries, go to our website, madeinafricaproject.com. That's madeinafricaproject.com. On our website, you'll see information about visiting Africa, relocating to Africa, etc. And join one of our memberships. We offer a membership that's just for real estate and residential home finding. We offer additional resources for starting a business, expanding a business, investing in different collective projects. We pretty much hold your hand through the entire process. We give consulting pretty much 24 hours a day. I'm available to my members and clients. We have collective groups where we're all actually communicating amongst each other, sharing our experiences. And anytime we have properties that are available, we share them directly to you so that you can let us know if it's something that you're interested in. So check out our website, madeinafricaproject.com.
All right, cool. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Peace.